All right. Are we started? Okay. All right. Hey everybody. Welcome to this panel here. Got some amazing people here with me. Let's see. So this panel is about boosting your business through powerful client events. My name is Jason Munoz, and I'm with the Munoz Home Group, powered by Place, here in Lacey, Washington, and we service the areas surrounding Joint Base Lewis McChord, Tacoma, Olympia, and I'm going to be your host today. I've built a business around events and sphere and referrals, among other things, but events is something that we've gotten really good at. And if you're unfamiliar with Place, we're a brokerage. I don't think we're supposed to say agnostic anymore, but we're brand neutral, and we provide business services to high performing teams. Before we jump in, I do want to announce some exciting news. Place announced at Built How in Phoenix that we're going to be launching a new resource called Real Events. And what that does is going to bring experts in a myriad of real estate disciplines to on-demand live courses. And you're going to have resources there and learning and just on-demand classes. And so you're going to have the opportunity, if you attend these, to learn secrets about doing powerful home buying seminars from my partner, Kim Meserve, or being an area pro from Mike Hicks, or even I'm actually hosting a class as well around this actual topic. So if you want to get updates and information on those classes being launched and potentially attend them, go ahead and scan the QR code you see on your screen, and you'll get updates. You don't have to buy anything, but you'll get updates about those events and those classes if you'd like to attend them. Okay, so for our panel today, we've got some great guests here. First, we've got Elizabeth Gasso. She's with the Ben Kinney team out of Texas, powered by Place. And Elizabeth, she's got a great track record of using events to drive business with stronger and building stronger relationships with her clients. Also, we have Melina Wilson. She's in Bellingham, Washington, and she's going to share actionable event communications and follow-up strategies. Ultimately, is going to lead to more transactions. So, Elizabeth, why don't you tell the crowd a little bit about yourself? How long have you been in real estate? How long have you been with Place? And what's your business look like last year compared to this year?
Yeah, so I've been with Place, I guess, since it started, but really before that, Ben Kinney team Dallas since 2017. So quite a long time, been on a team the whole time. I actually started off as a showing agent for my operator, and now I have 2 showing agents and an admin of my own. So definitely going through the Place opportunity model, which is awesome. And my business, thankfully, I grew up in Dallas. I have a lot of sphere here. So that's kind of been my focus in the last couple of years. So events are perfect for that. Last year and this year, I'm both like 99% sphere and past client referral and agent referral. Last year, I think I had 1 Zillow closing, and this year I'll have my first TikTok closing tomorrow. But other than that, it's 100% by referral. So having a reason to reach out to my, not just my past clients, but my sphere locally, and to have a way to see them in person and be able to obviously follow up with them has just been essential for keeping up just communication and staying top of mind.
Yeah, definitely. Good. Great. Melina, welcome. How long have you been in the business? How long have you been with Place? Tell us kind of the same stuff.
Okay, so I was licensed in 2005. I did my first transaction with Ben. My first phrase to him is, "Honey, how old are you?" Because he looked like he was 12. So I've been with him through the growth of Place, so I can't tell you when that started. He could name that better than I could. I've just been along in the whirlwind behind him and Jolene, and hanging out and loving what I see that we're creating along the way to help agents. And it's been a lot of fun. I too, like Elizabeth, the majority of my business, even though I'm on the team, has been a repeat business, referral, reviews, etc. So even though I'm in the heart of internet leads, a lot of those turned into clients and friends, and many transactions with those same clients over time. So I have a database that is in a good forward momentum. And the way that I stay in relationship with that database is through these client events. And we just held one. I'll tell you about that because we're pending and ready to close on one of those. We have a random show up. I'll tell you about that as you get into it. But we're actually ahead of the game this year in September than where we closed out last year, and with less transactions, but a higher price point. So we've been really intentional in who we're attracting to our events and how we're doing that. So, yeah.
Awesome. That's fantastic. A little bit about me is I've been in the business for about 11 years now. I've been a place operator for 2 years, and year over year numbers, I mean, we've done about 60 million in volume the last few years, each year. This year, we're going to be down a little bit. I think everybody is, but our price point has gone up and our GCI is there. So that's been really good. And we've done a lot of this through events, right? We hold about 7 big events a year, along with our smaller events and pop buys. So before we jump in, I just want to find out if there's a crowd out there. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. Crystal's going to be monitoring that for us. Also, I've got this problem that a lot of people know about me is I have a tendency to not smile. So if anybody out there sees that I look angry, throw it in the chat. Say, smile, Jason. Say, do something. That way, at least I know we're talking to some people and people are out there. Don't be afraid to call me out. All right, Elizabeth. So
Yeah.
Let's talk about your events. You got an interesting. Tell us where you're from. I thought Lacey, Washington. All right, Elizabeth, you got an interesting event strategy. You've got team events, right? And then you got another type of event that I wanna talk about. But first, let's talk about the team events. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how you're leveraging that with your business?
Yeah, so absolutely. I always leverage the team events. On our team, we have about three that we do every single year. And then we've been kind of experimenting with 1 or 2 more just to see if we can get a different crowd in. But our most popular ones are probably our family photo day, which I think a lot of people do, where we have, timed family mini photo sessions for like the holidays. We actually just did them like a week and a half ago, where we invite our entire database of past clients to. Past clients get first dibs. If we have any like kind of leftovers, we'll then go out to Sphere and stuff. But it's a great way to be able to not just see them, but also just give them a call. If they can't make it, they're super bummed. I also have it open just if they need headshots, they can come. Like I have a lot of single professional past clients, and so they might not necessarily need a family photo day shoot. We always choose places that are dog friendly. So I'm just like, hey, bring your fur babies along. Like people that have dogs absolutely love taking family photos of their dogs. I take family photos with my dogs. And I've had past clients do their engagement photos there. We've had clients come every single year. I've had several do baby announcements there. It's just a great way to stay in their life and in their memories. And of course, just have that touch throughout the year with those photos. We also do a family movie night or movie day in June for whatever Pixar release comes out that year. So it's really easiest for us to plan because we know really far in advance what that Pixar movie is going to be, what day it's going to come out. We can rent out the whole theater. It's expensive to go to the movies now. We leave that open for invite whoever you want from your family. So if grandma and grandpa want to come, cousins want to come, please bring them. So that's a great way for us to meet the Sphere and like different family members of our clients. And again, just stay top of mind with them. We used to do a rooftop party every year. This is the first year we didn't do one. We'll probably bring it back next year, but it's like our date night. So like no kids allowed. We do it in like a rooftop down in Dallas. It's super fun. We do it in like April. So the weather is like perfect for Dallas, not too hot, not too cold normally. And yeah, those are just the kind of our tent pole events. And then we've been experimenting with a couple other ones. Like I have 2 dogs, so I'm dog mom. I have no children. So I like to do the dog park thing where we have a private dog park here. It's like $10 entry. And it's, really nice park. And it also has like a margarita machine and they sell food. And so it's a really fun event to be able to just say, hey, we're going to be here from these hours to these hours. We'll pay for the entry for you. Just come say hi. To be able to see like who else comes out, can we get to come out to an event? To be able to stay in touch.
That's a different one. It's interesting. One of our sphere strategies is to hang out where your sphere hangs out, right? And so if you've got a bunch of, dog lovers in your sphere and going to a dog park and inviting them and paying the entry fee, that's an interesting creative one. You mentioned with the date night that you guys didn't do it this year. We had an event that we didn't do last year, and we had people reaching out going, hey, are you guys doing this again this year? Like we want to participate. Did you have that same thing happen to you guys?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I have friends and past clients that I only see that night. Like they know that we do it. We always do it in conjunction with a charity. And so they're like, and it's the charity's always wanting something a little odd, like underwear or socks. And so we're like, just bring a bunch of underwear. So it's just like, are we doing that party again where I bring the underwear and we get to go to HG Supply. So yeah, this year, because it was just like an unknown market, it was one of those things like, should we be spending money on it? Should we not? So yeah, that's why we press pause, but I think it'll be back.
Awesome. So before we get into the logistics of how you guys invite, hosts, follow up, because we are going to get into those things. You also do another different type of event that you told me about before we got on here. And I thought that was really cool and interesting. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah. So I'm not an operator, right? And so I'm not the one that's like doing the budget and the ROI and stuff for those other events, which I like. That's why I like being on a team. I don't want to do that stuff. I just want to invite people and see them. But I do like to get together. I'm, a big extrovert, and I would be going to places anyway. I'd be seeing friends anyway. And so I thought to myself, how can I be a little bit more intentional with the things I'm already doing and enter micro events? So for me, a micro event is just an event with a much smaller amount of people, typically no more than like 10 or 12 people would be what I think a micro event is. And it's being intentional about those things. So for me, like I'm a big old nerd, y'all who know me, and I love board game nights. I've been having a puzzle party lately where I literally just sent a message to a bunch of people.
You guys all wear headlamps and hover around the puzzle table.
I mean, it's well lit. My house is well lit, but I just, said like, I kind of want to do a puzzle, like, but and this was just me, like I bought a new puzzle. I didn't want to do it over like 10 days. So I was like, I just want to do it. I was like, does anyone want to come do it with me? And 6 people came to my house and were like, wow, we want to do this puzzle with you. And then they were like, when are we doing this again? I was like, oh, great. And like the people that came over are my VIPs, right? They're the ones that I get a lot of business from. But as we get older, it is harder to get together. So we plan these a month in advance. People put it on their calendar. They make sure they don't have the kids that weekend, and we're puzzling at the house. Other great micro events would be like brunch. Even if you're just the planner to say, hey, I want to go to brunch. Do you want to go to brunch? And your friend or past client says, great. I was like, awesome. Invite someone to come with us. I'll invite one other person. And so it's a great way to grow your sphere without spending a ton of money. I'm not paying for anyone else's brunch. I'm just paying for my own, right? And you're going to get a much more personal relationship with that person that was invited. I do an event every year for Galentine's Day, which is a made-up holiday, but it's
I thought that was a typo on our little document, but you meant
it's
Galentine's
Day.
Okay,
I meant Galentine's Day. It's from a show. Someone made it up, and it's just a day to celebrate your lady friends. And I think I love this show. I thought it was funny. I've been doing it for years now. And I just do a Facebook event, and I just invite every single lady I know. I invite agents too, that it's in my area, and I open it up for them to invite their friends. Again, I don't pay for it. They're paying for their own stuff. It's not branded. It's just about girlfriends. We do a like Secret Santa type gift exchange, but the caveat is just bring a gift another lady would like. And so, you know, there's blankets, there's mugs, there's candles, there's, you know, whatever, fun stuff that you think would
Not
be
those
fun.
crappy single wick candles, like the 3 wick big
Oh,
candles,
like
right?
a nice
Yeah.
candle. Yeah. And so what's great is, again, you leave it open for people to invite their friends. And even if they can't come, because I mean, in Dallas, it's in February. In Dallas, it's always cold. Sometimes it's not even like safe to drive because we like iced over or something, but people like getting invited. Again, I have friends that I only see at Valentine's Day. They don't leave their house for anything except for Valentine's Day. That's when I see them. But they're like, oh, we're going to buy a house next year. We'll call you. Or I have a friend says, hey, my friend just moved in from out of town. She'll be buying a house at the end of her lease, right? Like there's lots of people, of business that happens, might not happen that day. So ROI is hard to follow up with because I'm also friending every single person that gets invited to Valentine's Day. So they're going to
Yeah.
start seeing posts more. And it's just a way to be more intentional and like have a really like very low startup, low cost to these events to increase relationships.
So so I'm seeing a couple questions in the chat
Yeah.
about how to pay for this and you know,
Yeah.
some
Literally, I
saying
just
they
make
feel
the
pressure
reservation.
asking for their invitees to pay for their own brunch, right? So like how did you
It's
make
not
that decision?
branded. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not branded. So I'm just like, whenever you go to lunch with your girlfriend, does the person that invite you pay? Like, do you pay for everybody you invite to like a normal brunch, like with your like immediate friend group? No, everyone pays for themselves. So it's just like I put together the invite, I invite people to it. It's an affordable place we go to. It's normally a
So
buffet, like $25 buffet, with mimosas included, and everyone just pays for their own bill. I do specifically choose a place that does split bills, so that's not a problem, and it's never been a problem either. And they also bring their own gift. We put like a $25 limit on it.
yeah. So you treat it more like, it sounds like you treat it more like you said it's unbranded. So you treat it more like if I was having a Secret Santa Christmas party at my house or maybe at a restaurant and I invited my friends, right? Everyone's
Yeah.
coming to that event knowing they're going to pay for their own dinner, right? And provide a gift. And it sounds like you treat it like that, right?
Yeah.
And then
And
the
the
other question
difference
is
in
like, do you talk about real estate at these events and how does that organically happen?
Yeah. So the difference, one is intention and follow-up. That's the only difference between having a Secret Santa event at your house and having a micro event at your house. One is the intention that you're going to have conversations when people come over, and then you're going to follow up with them in some way, which you might not have before. And as far as real estate, it's really easy. I invite other realtors there. And so one of the first things we do is we all introduce ourselves. So I'm like, hey, I'm Elizabeth, if you don't know me, like I live down the street, whatever. I'm, you know, a real estate agent, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, okay, now next to me, Jennifer, why don't you introduce yourself? Jennifer's on my real estate team. You know, so-and-so over here. Oh, this is my friend Annie. I helped her buy and sell twice last year. You know, like it's super
Yeah.
easy. Then they just know that that's what you do. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. So in these events, whether it's a team event or a micro event, how are you inviting people and how are you deciding who gets to come to what? Is there an avatar, you know, type client specific to each of these events? Can you dive into that a little bit?
Sure. For team events, it's everybody. All past clients, current clients, Sphere. The team does all of like the auto plan stuff. So all the email templates are done by the team. They set us tasks so I can remember to call or text them. I mostly do texting, I'll be super honest. I'm a big old millennial and I don't really like talking on the phone. But I also do love video, sending video invites. So I will, instead of picking up the phone and just calling, I'm so much more comfortable being like, hey Jason, what's up? Wanted to invite you to this event we're having, etc., and send the
Nice.
video off. They're still seeing my face. It's still personal to them. I'm saying their name. It's not a generic message I'm sending over and over again, but I don't know why I'm way more prone to do that than to pick up the phone and make in
Well, it's important
call.
to communicate with your sphere in the way that they prefer to be communicated, right? And so
Yeah.
if your sphere is that generation and that's how you communicate, then that's the most effective way to do it. The whole point is just to reach out, right? And make a connection. So we talk about getting on the phone constantly, but it's really about the connection and the reach out, right?
Yeah. And we'll do it several times. The email goes out. I would prefer the email to go out every week almost. It just depends on the event and how soon we are to it. And I'll normally do like a mass invite whenever we first have it. I'll do like a reminder kind of halfway through. And then depending on how much is left, like how many spots are left, I'll literally be like, hey, there are 4 spots left. These are the times, like, can you make it? And then I'll also do a reminder, hey, you're signed up for this spot, or hey, I'm so looking forward to seeing you. Like, and sometimes people cancel and that's fine, but there's a lot of communication leading up to it.
And on the team events, did you participate in all of those?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Why is that
That's what
important to you?
it's leverage, first of all, and two, that's what we're on the team for. That's what the team's supposed to do. They're supposed to be that leverage for us, and that's what our money goes to, frankly, right? Like, it's to generate more business for me. If I choose not to invite it, that would be on me, not the team. That the opportunity is there. You really need to milk every single opportunity.
Got it. And then your micro events that you've decided to start hosting on your own. So this is outside of the team, right? Is there a cost associated with those, and how do you decide who to invite to those?
That's going to be a little different. So there's different kind of buckets of ways to do it, and it depends on how you want to grow your business. I'm more focused on like my ideal client avatar. And I always say I cheat when it comes to my avatar, because my avatar is my best friend, Jennifer. Jennifer and I are the same age. She has a kid. She's married. I've helped Jennifer buy and sell. I helped her boyfriend, now husband, buy a house. I've helped her parents buy 2 properties. She's sent me countless people. I want more Jennifers. Everyone wants more Jennifers, right? That one person that's constantly just sending you business. So I asked myself, like, what is something that a Jennifer or Jennifer herself would like to do? And so in my head, I think, what does Jennifer like? Jennifer likes going to brunch. So that's why, like, Valentine's Day is a perfect thing to invite her to. Jennifer's also an engineer. So if I see a STEM event coming up, I might say, hey, would you like to come to me with the STEM event? I might buy, like, if I buy 5 tickets, do you think you can invite 3 more people from your STEM society to go with us? That's a micro event. But it's specifically to meet more people like her, right? She went to Georgia Tech. So if there's a Georgia Tech game playing, I'm not a sports person, but that's something that's like, hey, are you going to this game I see that they're playing the game at this location. And none of, like, going to a bar to cost me nothing and it's like everyone's there for one purpose. She will know a bunch of people, introduce me to a bunch of people, etc. There's like so many ways to do it. That's what I'm focused on, because I want more clients that are buy sell.
Yeah.
So
and
that's
what I'm hearing is consistent that you're doing is you're not just inviting the Jennifer you already know. You're getting the Jennifer you already know to invite more Jennifers, right? At all of these events, so that you can meet more people, do more business, and feed your database, right? Yeah. And then you're growing.
And you already have that referral from knowing the same person. So the whole, like, know, like, and trust, they already trust her, so they're probably going to trust me. I'm going to make sure they like me, and then they'll be able to do business with me if they need to. Yeah.
Great. I see a question in the chat. It's asking if a mass email goes out and the person responds and accepts the invite, they're asking, do you still call them and reach out to them?
I normally will have that time block more in the middle of saying, hey, I saw you RSVP'd, like, so excited to see you in the future. I might not spend time inviting them if I can spend time inviting someone else if I already know they're coming. Unless it's the first time someone comes to an event. If it's one of my repeats that come to all the events, I'll normally not. But if it's someone that it's a new client and that's the first event they're coming to, I will normally reach out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I saw you RSVP'd. And so, yeah, I'll normally do that. Great. Just a text though. I won't call them. I'll just text them.
But it's important. I think it's important that if you see that they accepted the invite, right, to kind of shore up that connection. Like, I'm excited to see you at that blank event. Like, I hope you can make it, right? And that's gonna go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say at closing, I actually will tell them our next client event is this. I will be inviting you. Put it in your calendar right now. We normally do know the dates pretty far in advance. So that's normal. That's like part of my closing process is to tell them when the next one is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's important. You know, I've gotten in the habit of doing that as well. When I close on a transaction, I always say like, hey, we do a lot of client events. We do a lot of community events. Like, you're going to hear from us. You're going to be invited to these things. I hope to see you at the next one. So that's key. Let's see here. I want to jump over to Melina and get some info from you as far as, you know, your strategies, because you've got some interesting things going on. Tell me why events, first of all. Like, why do you focus so much on events? Because you told me that that's really where the bulk of your business is.
So as a single agent, as I got going before I ever joined Ben, I started with Buffini, and Buffini has a lot of let's pop by and say hello and stay in front and in relationships. So I started my business that way. But as I built my business out, I did not have the time to stop by and see everybody. And I was very strategic in where I'd stop by. If I had a workplace full of employees, I would go there versus, you know, per neighborhood. So I knew the value of time and wanted to have the highest impact and create the best relationship. It's really important for us. Now I have a business partner, Kelsey, but we let them know we were scripted all the way through getting in relationship with that person all the way to staying in relationship. So we let them know, whether in a buyer consult, listing appointment, that when we're done, we're going to be in relationship for a lifetime. So we have these client events. We want you to come. Sometimes the event is in the middle of the listing or in the middle of the buying process. So we actually even tag in brevity the people that we think we might invite to the party that we haven't necessarily deemed a sphere yet, but it's the nudge over into relationship, over into added value that other realtors aren't putting out there. So and anymore in this global world, people are shopping a wider area. So if I can say, come hang out with us, and they build relationship, they're also seeing the community that we offer when they may be shopping Seattle, Snohomish, Whatcom County, right? So they're shopping 3 areas, and I say, hey, come hang out with us, right? So we utilize it in so many ways. So the client event is really a result of wanting my time back. And you would think I'm an extrovert. I'm not. And maybe real estate made me that way. But I don't necessarily want to do a ton of events. I want to do a few events and do them really well and have the highest impact, and then be hanging out in the woods or in a cause, whatever it is. So solo, hugging trees. So so the client events really are specifically set up, and it's a marketing plan for the whole year for us. So it's a way to add to the database. It's a way to increase our business contacts, vendor relations. It is a way to stay in touch. So on our last client event, we're pending right now. So that event, I think, was like mid-August, end of August, and we're closing, I think, on the 12th or 13th of next month. So a direct result of that client event, we added people to the database because of that client event. We got referrals that we wouldn't have had if we hadn't been on the phone. Kelsey dials through our database, and in that came the condo, but then also we have another past client that wants to sell or to list and to buy again. So so we use it as a full marketing plan. So we have one per quarter, and then we can talk to our database 4 times a year. And then who we're targeting at those events is varied. So I too have an avatar, but I don't want to sell myself short. So we had to vary these events. And I noticed that by doing it wrong a gazillion times, right? To understand how to do it right. So,
okay. So talk to us a little bit more about this last event where you're directly relating sales from. What was that event?
So the last one is our client appreciation blueberry picking party. So you may not have blueberries in Texas. That may not be the big deal, but this event came from the fact that I was trying to find an event where it would cross all age groups, whether it was a married family, young, older, but young at heart, like myself. I have clients that had some wheelchair necessity. Like I wanted to make it as big and broad to the whole database to be able to come in. This
And do you guys
particular,
invite the entire database, like
Yeah.
for an event like this, the entire data? Okay.
that one, absolutely. Not all of them. We have a VIP event that we do, and that's a 40+1 event. And that came out of the result that I thought I knew who was giving us the most referrals. We inventory who's giving us the most referrals. I know who my favorite people are, but they're not necessarily, maybe I haven't taught them well enough on how to be an extrovert. You know, I have to tell you guys. So here's a result of the client party. No. Yes. So I got a text from one of my people saying, hey, I'm listening to my wife. They both own businesses. They also both did sponsorship for this event. She's telling our friends that you and Kelsey are the only realtors that they should use. My wife never says anything, but she has decided that you're the best of the best. And that comes from that relationship that's built over time at these events. When this particular event, one of the reasons that we like it as well is that we have out-of-state clients coming inbound. We're very purposeful.
And this is the blueberry one, right?
The blueberry one.
Okay, yeah. I want to stay on that one, but I want to go to the other one you mentioned here in a minute.
Mm-hmm. So this one, our out-of-state clients will come in, and we've noticed this across our events too, is it's a place where they are building rapport with one another. So there's a whole community within our clients. So we had just sold to some folks from Colorado, and they were sitting next to the people from Montana and a gentleman who just bought an Airbnb in Arizona. So you get this kind of global conversation that's going on there too. And then they're also sitting next to our contractor who sponsored the event, who is going to do some work, because we also include our sponsors into our clients' worlds in a big way too. And so we can go on to that as well. But this particular event, so I wrote it down because I called Kelsey right before this call and I said, okay, remind me what we got out of this event. So we have the condo that's closing on the 17th. We have a client that's going to list and buy. We have some random gentleman that came in, and we track, I saw in the questions, we track everything. I like to inventory everything so that I make sure that what I'm doing is getting me the results that I want. And so we have one person on this, we have a sign-in sheet.
Okay, perfect.
And so in order to get the bucket for the blueberries, you're coming in, you're signing in. They also have to have a name tag, because when your database gets that big and when you get as old as I am, I call everybody honey because I can't remember names. So they need to have name tags on, so they get the name tag. There's a bunch of things that happen at the registration that are very purposeful. We have hashtags so that they can label it, and it goes into social media for both us and the farm, that is allowing us not to have to pay a fee to be at the farm, just the blueberries. So anyways, that and going into photography, as I inventory everything, one of the things that we found this year is we do hire professional photographers. Somebody asked that. We've decided that we're not getting a return on that photography the way that we want. We had name tags put on also so that the photographer could kind of angle the photo, because people change. I can't remember. I'm getting photos of all these people. I don't know
who they are.
who they are. And I want to tag them in social media, but we also have so many photos that you're going to overwhelm social media that's not a good use of our $600 budget for a photographer. So we decided we're going to branch out to what Elizabeth is doing and so many others are, that is a photography piece that we can utilize that $600 in a bigger, better way. And I don't have to go in and decide what kit is attached to what person in that photo to try to utilize the return. So, so we had somebody randomly come in at this registration that we are like, okay. And we asked, where did you hear about the party for our own marketing inventory? He said, Facebook. I called Kelsey. I'm like, do you know who this person is? No. I looked through Brivity. I looked through all my old, because I've been in business before Brevity was around, but any
Mhm.
place that I could go to try to find this person. And we were trying to see through emails because we asked people to bring people to the event if they don't have a favorite realtor of choice. And we also use social media. So he obviously he saw it on Facebook, but we don't know where the heck he came from. But you know what? He's pre-approved and he's shopping now. We'll get into that later when it doesn't, we're not stepping on toes by not knowing. So we're gently, but he's shopping. So he was another one. We have lenders, our lender is a sponsor as well. So we got somebody just about pre-approved on site. Our lender did videos. So we used all the videos for social media. We didn't have to. So I love leverage, and I love one focused energy to give me as many outputs to the strategies that I deem will grow the business. That blueberry event is open to everybody. So you've got kids picking blueberries. You've got it just crosses every age group,
Yeah, it's very diverse. It's very versatile because anybody can come, right? And you have them sign in on like a regular sign-in sheet, or do you have them, fill out a Google form? Like, what's your practice on that?
We do. So when we send the invite out, so on this particular event, we'll do an Eventbrite, and then we run it through MailChimp so we can see if there's any email address that we need to update to. So it keeps us current on our database on who's doing what, so we can make sure to stay current with them. COVID changed a lot of jobs, a lot of emails, a lot of contact information.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So Eventbrite and MailChimp allow us to stay current, but I'm really big on the call. And I know Elizabeth, you're a texter, but I'm older, and I'm going to have a phone call. I have to watch my time to make sure I'm not talking for too long, but I'm always calling. And when I say Kelsey and I are calling through, and we're going through the tag.
Is there a script you use, for like a blueberry event to invite people?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the script varies. So if it's somebody who's on Brevity and they're, we want to bring them over to our side, it may be something to the effect of, hey, we're having this client event. We have at least 4 every year because we like to build relationships for a lifetime. So this won't be just about one transaction if you choose to go with us. I know you're shopping these 3 areas, but if you guys want to come up, we can make sure to either show you some properties beforehand, or if you guys spend the night in Bellingham, we'll block out the next day. But we'd love to invite you to the event. It will also show you some of the community and some of the other folks that we've helped. And it's almost like a living and breathing testimonial to our services and how we do business. So if you'd like to come, please feel free, and we'll get you on the list. If it's somebody in my database and it was set, people will say, hey, when's the party? Because the blueberries come in at different times in the year. You can't just pick one date. I have to tell you, I have 2 other place partners in my area that have tried to book this same farm, which is brilliant. You create something wonderful, they want to repeat it, right? But the farm called me and said, hey, we've got 2 other realtors. They're trying to block your time. What date do you want?
So the consistency of doing this every year is paying off, because now the farm expects it, your clients expect it. Is that accurate?
Yeah. And as you were saying with the expenses, the questions are coming in. We started small. I mean, it was just the blueberries. Now we have a band, we have a photographer. We've got a whole table with tchotchkes that different people. We've got sponsorship that has done a lot more. We probably needed to do more sponsorship asks this year, but we expanded into video, newsletter. We have a whole list for our sponsors to buy into. We call it the Blueberry Row, so they can have their signage, or we put them into our newsletter that goes out to 5,000 people. Like, we sell the reason why. And then they're mingling with the folks at the event, and they're getting jobs, right? So if it's my contractor or my lender or whoever it may be.
That's awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about follow-up, but before we do that, I just want to spend a quick 2 minutes, maybe 3. Can you explain the 40+1 event? Can you explain that idea and concept, and who gets invited to that?
So the 40+1 is forcing me to do an inventory on who's been my biggest raving fan, who has sent me the most. And as Elizabeth said, we all want that one type of person. I have one gal I've never sold a home to, but she dates a lot of people, and I get all her boyfriends. I seem to be, I would have never put that as an avatar.
That's good.
I also have some people that I would think were raving fans just because of their review and everything else, but their personality isn't necessarily one to jump into a conversation and say, you should call Melina. But I do train clients on how to invite us into somebody else's world if they need us. But the 40+1 is an event that forces us to inventory who gave us the most business this year and how can we say thank you. And then we've done different things, like rent the Mount Baker Theater, and we do a wine and cheese event beforehand, and we've booked tickets for a show. We were talking about maybe using like doing a charcuterie board. Ben's got a location here that's beautiful, and I was thinking maybe we should use that in the location, bring down our costs, build out somebody else's business, the person who's doing the charcuterie, and have it be a +1 that way. So we're constantly looking at ways to lower our cost, increase value, and also use it to increase business and database and relationship.
Is there a systematic way that you utilize Brevity to track, so that you know which clients are sending you the most business, or using tags? Like, how are you figuring that out?
Not necessarily, because like Jeanette is a gal who's in my business mixer, and I taught a class years and years ago around success principles, and her daughter became my assistant for a minute, but she actually worked for another realtor. But she was an assistant to another realtor. She sends me so much business, but I've never helped her do a deal. So she isn't necessarily in Brevity, right?
Okay.
She doesn't fit in that Brevity world. So we have another way of tracking who's given us the most referrals.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about follow-up after the event. And I don't know if we got into that with Elizabeth. So I want to bump back over real quick. Elizabeth, what's your strategy around follow-up, and how do you do that, and why is it important?
Yeah. So one, I'm a big notes person. My minimum is like 5 notes a day. So after an event's the easiest because I have exactly who I need to send notes out to that for that event. I make custom ones on Canva, so they're a little bit more fun. They're not branded, like they're just more personal. And I hand write every single one. Thanks so much for coming, and send those out. So that's one way. 2 is I like to try and take as many pictures as we can. Even like family photo day, we have a photographer taking photos, but I will, with my phone, just take candids as we're going around. And then normally the Monday after an event, I'll actually just text those to my clients too. It'll be like, hey, I took these behind the scene, pictures. Thanks so much for coming. Looking forward to how your pictures come out, or however it is. Same thing with a micro event though. Even at brunch, I like to always like, oh, let's have the, waiter take a picture of us. I always try to get some pictures, post them on social media if we can. Because we're trying to just milk the situation for in as many categories as possible. But yeah, for me, it's photos, notes, and text afterwards.
Okay.
Them for
when you
coming.
post the photos on social, are you tagging those people? And okay, great.
Yeah, tag the location where you took them, tag the people, and I also like to just say like, what are we doing there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, Melina, your follow-up, how do you handle that? And then also, I wanted to ask you, tell us about that, but then also tell us about how you're trading business with other business owners and contractors, and how you manage that.
So my coach told me, so this is not any of my own brilliance, but the most important call is the call after the event. And it's not to the person for us who attended, although we do that, but it's to the person who didn't attend. So in this Eventbrite, we track our numbers too. What's our response to sign up? Like, are we on track? Are we not on track? But usually they say that 40% of the people who say they're going to attend will actually attend. So in my cost analysis, I really want to, the blueberry party, I'm pre-ordering buckets up to an amount. If I'm doing a pie, I'm buying pies, right? So the calls before are really important so that I'm keeping my costs down and not buying things that I shouldn't be buying. The call afterwards is really important, because I'm noticing who didn't show up, who said they were going to show up. So when they get the call and say, oh my gosh, I didn't see you at the party, but I know you had registered. I was excited to see you. Are you guys doing okay? Is there anything that I need to know? One of our follow-up calls, we had a client whose husband had been in a really bad car accident, and Kelsey was actually able to go out and deliver a meal for Meal Train, right? So these calls are, once again, that relationship. But on the follow-up call, it's going through who didn't show up, who said they were going to show up, but then it's also going back to the database, because we know a lot of the people that are the regulars. So I had some people that did. So Dave, I called him and I said, hey, I didn't see you guys at the event, but I didn't even see that you registered. Were you out of town? Is everything okay? And his mother-in-law was struggling and they had to go visit. And so I got to be there in relationship. Is there anything that you guys might need, etc.? So it's about the relationship that you're building over time. You know, on the call and the invite to as we were talking scripts to the event, I'm always saying, hey, by the way, you guys know of anybody who has any real estate needs at the moment that we can help? Or do you know anybody who needs a realtor at the moment who doesn't have a realtor of choice that you would want us to invite to this event? So those are the beginning calls, but the end calls are, hey, I missed you. We're in relationship. I noticed you weren't there, or I didn't notice you didn't register this year. Or, hey, did you get the invite? Because we actually sent one out and you've never been to one of our parties before. And this is really where we get to stay in touch with you, because we got to get to know you during the transaction. We don't want to lose getting to know you in life.
Yeah. So you're being very purposeful about not only following up and thanking the people that came, but also following up with the people that didn't come, that said they were going to come or that normally come, so that you still stay and keep that relationship and make sure that, you know, they hopefully attend the next event, or you can show up as a person with a meal, right? If you find out something happened that, you know, is sad or whatnot, and you're just maintaining that relationship. So I think maybe a lot of people don't think to follow up with the people that didn't come, that said they were going to come. So I think that's crucial that you do that.
Be amazed.
Real quickly, what's that?
I said you'll be amazed at the response
Yeah.
you get, because it shows that you care.
Exactly. Talk about the way that you talked to me about this yesterday or the other day, trading business with contractors. Like, you manage that very strictly, it sounds like. Do you remember talking about that?
Yeah. You like this. It's funny, I'm really sweet and I'm loving, but when I go into business with a business partner, I'm very specific that the standards are set, that I want to give you business, right? And in return, I want to receive business. I have a really big business, or at the time I was starting it, I want to build a really big business. So if you're new to the industry, you can still have this conversation, but you're saying, hey, I would like to sit down and have coffee and see how we can help each other grow our businesses. And I'll tell you, I'm a coach. So now some of those businesses are asking me, my concrete pourer, he was at the Blueberry Party with his wife, and they're asking me to coach to their new small business, because I coach real estate lending and small businesses. Yeah. So it's now becoming a funnel for coaching, but we're very specific in the get-go of, if I'm going to send you referrals, I would like you to send me referrals. And how can we support each other in doing that? And what would that look like? And what would the expectations be, so I can inspect what I expect, right? And it's not a hard conversation, because the expectation was set on the upfront. So these people that are being invited to sponsor these events, there's a value for doing it. I'm not just asking them for money. We have a tiered sponsorship space in which they can do that.
You're putting them in front of clients.
Yes. And they're getting business, and they're sitting down at the table getting jobs, literally, right? So there is a value to be in our network and how we do business. So that a lot of those business owners are through a business mixer that I created. So that business mixer then supports the sponsorship, that then supports the for the client party, which is my marketing plan for the whole year.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I love our team leverage stuff too. We used to have an event called a food truck rally for the food bank, and they quit that with COVID. So that doesn't happen anymore. And And we were partnered up, but my clients, food. I mean, tacos, whatever, ice cream, goat cheese, pizza, not my thing. But food trucks everywhere. I would get the call left and right and left and right. Hey, are we having the taco truck event? So I definitely tap into what the team has to offer for events. And then we have a few of our own so that I can still have these businesses be in relationship with me. And I can say, I want your business. And if you're not able to provide that, that's okay. Find another great realtor. I'm going to find another great contractor. That's fabulous. That's life, right?
So
But
you're
if we're
holding them
going to,
accountable to that partnership.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Good.
yeah.
That's awesome. You know, I've found as we do our events that the consistency is the key. Like the frequency is what makes it successful. People start to expect it. And then if you skip one and people ask, hey, aren't you doing this? Then the brain goes off and you're like, I should have done that. Right? Like, don't break the frequency. And it takes time to build that up. But when you don't do an event and then someone asks, hey, why didn't you do this? Then you know it's working, right? And so, and it's great that you track, you know, your referrals and everything you're getting from that. But when the community starts to reach back out to you and go, hey, are you doing, like we do a turkey drive every Thanksgiving? Are you doing that this year? The food bank actually reaches out to me every October and says, you guys are coming, right? And so that's when you know things are really starting to get traction. We've got a few questions in the chat. I want to try and get to those real quick. Let's see here. There's a long one there that I don't know if I have time to read. Let's see. First fall photo event. Sorry. Do you print the photos and see them again to deliver in person? So I guess there's a question about the delivery of the photos at a photo event.
So our photographer, yeah, I mean, I'll take part of it.
Sure.
Our photographer is actually used to go to high school with our operator. So that's where our spirit comes in. But she's fantastic. And she actually has a system to where they can order photos directly from her website if they want physical copies. But we as a team pay for all the digital photos. I have actually printed out some to deliver to clients. I don't do it for everybody. It's like if they have a big family event coming up, like I had a friend who graduated from college, like with her master's. And so I printed out her photo in one of the frames with diplomas, because I knew she hadn't taken any any cap and gown photos. And like I hand delivered her the frame with the photo in it, and she can her stuff in there. But it's, like Melina said, with our sizes of our past client database, it's just not possible to do. And then there's too many options. So we just kind of give them
delivery. There's another question that says, do you have handouts or small gifts in the event? We do. We definitely we brand, like if we're having a team hosted event, we are branding that thing as best we can with cinch bags, koozies, pens, magnets, stickers, like take it all, right? Because all it's going to do is just sit on a desk in our office and collect dust. We want that out there. And it's nice when we go to a listing appointment and we see a magnet or a calendar or something they picked up at an event on their fridge, right? So it's nice because you realize, okay, this stuff doesn't actually just go into the garbage. There's a question that says, what happens after the event? Did you ask for a referral after the event? I don't know that you can just directly ask for a referral, but it seems like especially you two are getting referrals just organically because you're treating the event as a relational thing and not a transactional thing. Is that correct?
Yeah, I know for me, I like to just be top of mind. So while I very rarely just directly ask for referrals, I'm a big fan of if you ever need anything, I'm never too busy for you and your referrals, that kind of script. I know that Melina sounds like she's a little bit more intentional about asking for them.
And that's good. A nice script that I like, and I can't remember where I learned this from. It might have been Ben, but if you know anybody looking to buy or sell here in the near future, you're like, would you feel confident recommending them to me? Right. It's just a great question to ask, I think. So Melina, there's a question in here for you. I don't know if you can see that. You or any other panelists have a tiered sponsorship document that you just spoke about. So do you have a model or a document, like a menu for your tiered sponsorships that you spoke about?
Yeah, we do. Well, because we send it out to our vendors before an event and ask for the sponsorship and have that conversation. When I do the business mixer once a month before an event, I bring a document printed out on what they can sign up for.
So you're marketing that at your mix.
Yeah. Yeah. But we're also sending it out. Not all my vendors can show up to my mixer. It's about 20%, right? So I have about 100 people in there right now that are truly in the mixer, but you'll get maybe 15 to 20 people who show up to the event once a month, and it rotates through. I built it around a BNI model. And we only have 2 people per industry in our business vendor list,
Okay.
so that they can get high quality referrals and really want to be a part of the group. And it's almost like they feel like they won the lottery because they're in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, and the whole marketing plan, I mean, literally part of it is when we're calling our database, we're also calling our sponsors saying, hey, what are you willing to contribute this year?
It's important that you're talking about that, because one of the things I've learned over the last few years is invite our sponsors, invite our affiliates, our business partners, right? Invite them to come in and help pay for the event, because you're putting them in front of clients that are going to generate revenue for their business potentially, right? So there's value in that. And then also asking people to invite their friends. Like one of the scripts I love is, hey, I'm glad you're coming to this event. I can't wait to see you there, but I'm gonna have a bunch of clients there and I may not be able to spend a ton of time with you. So, I don't want you to feel weird just standing there on your own. So, feel free to invite a friend. Right. And then when that friend comes, they register, they make it in the database, and we're growing our database and our sphere that way.
So I got to say, I'm kind of opposite of that though. Because of the cost, I want to keep the cost down. And so our Blueberry Party is our biggest call all. We have a pie giveaway at Thanksgiving. And I know that the majority of my sphere is not going to be able to show up because it's the holidays and they're traveling for it. Right. So we're very purposeful in making sure our expenses down. But if I'm bringing people into that client event and I have to pay a ticket for them to be there for each time, I want to know that who I'm inviting doesn't have a favorite realtor. Their favorite realtor can pick into an event. So in our scripts, we're very specific. If you know of anybody that you would like to bring along that doesn't have a realtor of choice, let me know and I'll chat with them and add them to the invite list. So I actually have them get me the number of the person or affirm for me that they don't have a realtor of choice. Hey, it's my sister. She's moving from, down south up north. She hasn't found anybody up here yet, whatever that may be. And you'll see some of the video. Kelsey and I have done some pretty live videos, pretty funny barefoot one a few years ago. Made a mistake on video, left it up there, let everybody laugh. But we're very specific in what we say in video, how we print it onto social media, that if you don't have a realtor of choice, and if you do, fabulous, but if you don't have a realtor of choice, we would love to be those realtors for you.
Exactly. Yeah, if there's a cost associated with it, you definitely don't want come one, come all. So we host a cornhole tournament, and that's one of those things like where there's not a huge cost associated with that, and we want to get as many people there as we can. And so we'll tell people to invite other people. There's a suggestion here. Do you guys have any? I know I have a couple. We're running short on time here, but around the holidays, since the holidays are coming up, are there any events that you really dig into that you love holding that we can share with the people watching that they might want to hold? Just quick, any ideas?
Ooh,
Well,
I actually don't.
It has been the start of our bigger events, right? So, and it's an hors d'oeuvre, and we rent a space, and everybody sits at these tables that we're setting up. There's a kids corner. We've got our vendors on the lists and our favorite MLS listings, and we were bringing and inviting people. We'll do a gluten-free, like that pie event is one where the clients will say, hey, are you having the event? Haven't seen the invite yet, right?
Yep. Okay, pie event. Elizabeth, do you have anything that you do every year?
So the team doesn't actually do one at that time of year, since so many people travel and are busy. We have a hard time with attendance at those events in our area. I've actually started doing I won't say it's an event, but like a thing that I do in January. Because the most appointments I ever set are in the month of January. I normally set like 20 to 30 appointments every January because that's when everybody's like, you're talking about their real estate plans for the year. So I will actually do, and this year I'll probably have to do it differently, is like a candle gift. And my joke is, I hope this new year is lit and I gift them a
I
candle.
love it.
And so I started to do that with my VIPs. And now the list is too big. So I kind of want to do some event where they come to me for that candle. I got to think about what I'm going to do this year, but like, and that does cost. You can partner up with like a local. That's what I did before. It was a local vendor that provided the candles before. Someone asked about cost earlier, like what's something that doesn't cost a lot of money. You might just have to start with a smaller event if you don't want to cost a lot of money. But definitely also look into sponsorships. You can have events paid for. It doesn't actually have to be real estate sponsors either. I have a friend that for her birthday, she does a adoption event because she's big in animals, and she'll do an event that just has like, she's supporting dog adoptions. So that's a pretty easy one that you could do. It doesn't cost anything. They will happily come out with a bunch of animals for that. And then she'll have businesses around wherever she's holding it be able to sponsor, treats or prizes, but it could be like a masseuse, a restaurant nearby. It doesn't have to, like the local optometrist, like it doesn't have to be real estate related for those. I don't think so.
Okay,
That's
great.
just an idea.
Thank you.
I've done a lot of events that have no cost. So we raised money for the Joplin tornado and we did a shoe red carpet event and all the prizes were donated. One of my clients had a gallery. Somebody else brought in the wine. I mean, there was zero cost. We do events all the time that don't have a cost to it. So think about who's in your database too. You have people in your database that are business owners, people in the community that are involved. So go through your database, tell them what you're up to and ask if they know of any way they could contribute to an event.
Nice. Yeah, that's great advice. Holiday events. I know we do a turkey drive every year. We call our clients and we ask for donations to turkeys and we take them to the food bank and we take photos and videos of that and we post it on social. And we do that every year so much that I call clients now and they go, "Oh, it's November, Jason. Okay, $25. I don't even get my script out anymore, right?" And then we do the pie event that you also do, Melina. That's our give back. And we get RSVPs for that. So we get a phone call, we get a face-to-face, we get a thank you. And in December, we always do this 12-day giveaway on social. Everybody's traveling in December. So we get on social, we do a 12-day giveaway and we go live and we do drawings. And so that's the event last year that people were like, "Hey, aren't you doing this?" And because we get a lot of participation and interaction with that on social. Well, we are over by 4 minutes, so I got to wrap this up. I hope you guys found today's conversation useful. Boosting your business with powerful client events. Huge thank you to Elizabeth and Melina. Thank you for sharing all that you do, your expertise, your insight, your advice. That was amazing. And if you have any other questions, would like to reach out to our panelists, feel free to reach out to them. We'd love to hear from you. And of course, we would love your referrals as well. So Melina in Texas, Melina in Bellingham, Washington, Elizabeth in Dallas, Texas. I'm in Olympia, JBLM area. And I want to thank everybody for coming. Thank you so much. I hopefully did not have my RBF on for most of that. And everyone have an awesome, awesome day. Thank you.
Thank you guys.